I really wish I knew how to start these recordings without just feeling really awkward and not really knowing what to say. Unfortunately, that's not me, so I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, guys. Hello, my name is Metalface Pablo, and today I'm going to be talking about Beastars. Specifically, Beastars, well, Volume 1 for now, because while I did buy Volume 2, um, well, I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet. And then as it is, I really did enjoy the first one, so I did a couple rereads just to fully understand, or just understand the most that I could without with what the authors have given us up to that point, up to this point, I guess I should say, volume one. So I'll just show you guys, I guess. Here we go. That I have like the physical like copy of the book. I just want to show you guys something very quickly. We're gonna see if this works. Oh, it does work. So, so yeah, here's volume one of the book. Again, I'm sorry, my camera quality is not the best. I'm recording this on the 24th of January, and I've got to save money because I've got a few payments to make soon. So that's always fun. Anyways, here's volume one of Beast. Again, this camera quality is horrible. Jeez, I should have like at least trying to do something right. But yeah, so I'm here to talk about volume one and what it's that's what it's been about so far. I do have some notes here, and that's really what I'm going to be using to base off of because it has been a second since I last read it. Just give me 1 second here. Anyways, like I was saying, Beastars is for those who don't know, or for the guys who are like me who might have just like how do I say this? This feels awkward to say. Who might have just like gone on the internet, like maybe hold on, when did it first release? Because I want to get my dates right. Because I know the anime released on Netflix, and I was like, oh, that looks like really fun. It looks like I like the art style. I like the fact that they were animals, and I was like, okay, let's see what it could possibly be about, right? I watched it, and it was genuinely like the very complete opposite of what I was expecting to see. I'm not upset about it. In fact, I'm very happy that it completely went a different direction than it just being animals. But just watching it, just the anime alone, even then, I don't remember much about it, but I do remember that it was meant to. They weren't meant to. They were meant to represent something else, right? It wasn't meant to just be, oh, this is a wolf, this is a bunny, this is how their situations are. Obviously, that's not really how it works. Obviously, it was meant to be some kind of message, some little message, and that's really what I wanted to get into. But like I was saying, Beastars anime originally released back in March 13th of 2020. I don't believe I watched it that exact day. In fact, I might have been like a couple months later where I was because again, COVID started a couple weeks after this, or at least the I meant stupid thing. But at least like being quarantined happened a couple weeks later, and I remember watching it a couple like months after that. But again, I don't remember much about it. So when I found it actually at Goodwill, which by the way, I don't recommend supporting Goodwill. I don't like you know there are tons of different alternatives. In fact, I don't like it. But one day I decided, you know what, let's go see what it's about. And I found it, and it was actually in really great condition. Like the condition that I'm showing you guys in. I put the camera back. God damn it. But it's in amazing condition. I'll take some pictures on my phone about it, just show you guys. It was in amazing condition. So I was very happy to see. And I went through it, I read it, and I loved it. And I thought, you know what? Let's buy the second one. I was gonna say, you know, let's do analysis on this because again, like I said in the like I said in the introduction, it's not meant to be about wolves and bunnies and how they interact in a high school situation or how you know. It's meant to imply some other stuff. It's meant to imply men, or that's how I believe. That's how I saw it, right? Men and the real desire, right? Wolf, Lego sheep being a man, right? Lego sheep representing to be a man, and the little bit that we saw of Haru meant to represent women and how sometimes situations don't always play out their way and how they have to do it like that. Let me drink some water here. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here and I'm trying to remember what I wrote down, but I don't remember what this means. Okay, right. So again, where do I get this information from? Like, why does Legoshi appear to be sort of as a man? So in the answering like notes questions towards the end of the book, she writes down. Well, someone asked her why a wolf, and she says wolves are big and strong and hunched over. I think they look cute when people make them the villains because they're always sneaking around. When people make them the villains, right? So she's saying that Legoshi is a villain from this first volume. I don't think so. I believe he's more of a shy introverted, you know, socially awkward person who, again, does understand what he is, right? He knows he's a wolf. He knows what comes around. What? Sorry, hold on. Legoshi understands the like idea around him being a wolf. He understands how people perceive him. He understands this, and this is very, very obviously seen within just the first chapter, right? I think the first chapter of Beastars, you really see Legoshi through the eyes of his classmates. It's not really helpful that Legoshi looks absolutely terrifying the first few um pages, right? In fact, I'll show you guys right now. This is actually I was very surprised because this was his first like introduction to how we see him, right? I'll show you guys. Okay, so before okay, before I show you guys, I'll show you guys right now. I want to say I support you guys like getting the physical copy of books, supporting the author in any way that you can. I don't know if this is the official release by the author, and if it isn't, I'm so sorry. If it is, then cool, whatever, right? But again, I really do recommend you guys get like a physical copy of manga or any type of media because just like that, it can be taken away from you guys, and I really don't like that idea. So again, this is the first introduction we get of Legoshi, right? It does not help that this is page 18. Okay, this is what happens in the first few pages, right? Someone hunts down his friend, and this is the first time we see Legoshi. It doesn't. He really does not help his case, right? So it's kind of like, okay, well, what do you do in Legoshi? Uh, where'd that go? Where'd side panel go? No, I want side panel. I want the side panel. Damn it. Okay, whatever. Anyways, this is the first time that we like sort of see him interact with his classmates, right? Where is this? Here it is. Okay, the lights turn off. This is the first time his classmates. This is how we see him as his classmates. Okay, again, this whole like first chapter is, I believe, it's just sort of how we see Legoshi like through his classmates, right? It's meant to show you guys Legoshi understand. He understands this, right? He completely understands how people view him. But towards the end of the first chapter, we see how this just is completely contradictory to how he is, right? It's ironic because at the end of the first chapter, I'm gonna go back to it actually. Oh, look at my notes, guys. Haha. Like I said, the end of the first chapter, he ended off with him giving a letter that you know, his friend who passed away, he gave a letter to, the person that he really liked. Again, Legoshi, it does not help that you do this, man. Okay, he does no talking here. He just walks up to her. What the hell is this post, Legoshi? What are you doing? Yes. Look, see what I mean? This is how his classmates view him, right? This is intentional, right? Again, this is not like a movie where, oh, oh, just actor maybe sometimes did this and it was just, oh, it's maybe kinetical, maybe not, right? Who knows? This is something that the author purposely does. And I believe that's important to remember when you're talking about manga, books, video games. It's not an accident that people do this. It's on purpose. So this is how we see Legoshi, right? You see how she's completely white and he's like kind of darked out, some shades, right? And obviously it's kind of an artistic choice, but at the same time you kind of see Legoshi as like, hey, this is how people perceive him. He's a wolf. Until this, right? Until the irony of it comes in, right? He just wanted to give him a love letter, right? And it's at the end of the chapter, right? They're sort of just hanging out, talking about it because it's a tragic thing, right? He died. His best friend died before he gave a letter, right? What is, you know? And again, people, this is sort of how his classmates view him, right? And he says he understands this. It doesn't make a difference to me, so it's fine. I'm used to being feared and hated by animals. Legoshi understands. Damn it, I hate going back to that one. But Legoshi understands what people perceive him, how people see him. What does this mean about him? Does it mean that he embraces it? Does this mean that, he just doesn't care and like, you know what, maybe I am that guy? Or is he like, you know what, I don't care, but I know I'm not that guy. Is he secure enough? And I have to be honest, you guys, after rereading the first volume like a few times, I don't think he's secure enough in that. A big, very big part of this has to be with someone texted me, hold on. Sorry about that one, guys. I got a text from my sister saying how there's some loud noises and on like the Ring app, it's whatever, whatever. Okay. Where was I going with this? I forgot where I was at. I lost my train of thought. Hold on, guys. Okay, right. So, kind of going back to I reread it a couple times, and just don't think he, like, perceives himself as, like, a beast, right? He doesn't perceive himself like an animal, like a I guess, like, the way people think of him as, right? Again, kinda circling back to it, but I think he obviously he knows how people see him, right? He says he doesn't care, but I do think that there's just a tiny part of him that says, "You know what? There is this part of you. You are a wolf. You are gonna have tendencies. You're gonna have desires to do stuff." And it's best represented by the shadowy figure towards the end of the chapter. Did I bookmark it? Please, I did. Okay, I did. Chapter 5. Hey, it's us. Let's go through that one real quick. Chapter 5. Oh, there we go. I got the thing back. So with Hey, it's us, right? Damn it, the thing come back. As you can see here, right, he has Haru in a chokehold. He understands. Has these tendencies, and he feels them. Maybe for the first time in his life, and he this is for the first time in his life, right? This shadowy figure, which I don't remember seeing it in the anime. I don't remember if this shows up. I apologize if it does. I have not seen the anime in forever. But the shadowy figure, you've been holding it in for so long, right? Now we can assume that this is not a real person, as you can see. There's no one there. Second later, there is. You can't hold it in anymore, right? And he's questioning, right? You've worked so hard. You've been holding yourself back ever since you were a pup. I bet you never expect this to happen, right? And he says, "Are you sad? Or maybe you're frustrated?" I don't think you're actually happy from the bottom of your heart. Look at yourself. Don't avert your eyes. Getting bigger and bigger. I think you're ready now. This is where the fun begins. I won't look. Go away. No, no, no. Go away. Take a bite. I believe this is where this is. You see, this is Legoshi, and this is the thing. You see how Legoshi's white, right? Again, you might be thinking, "Oh, well, that's just to contradict the color of this." No, that is a perfect. That is a purposeful choice, right? If the author wanted to, she could have made Legoshi white. I mean, black. I should probably look it up. Huh? Yes, okay. Sorry about that. I had to double check that. So if she wanted to, she could have made Legoshi black here. She could have drawn Legoshi shaded in. She could have drawn him like that. But he didn't. She didn't. I'm sorry. She didn't. I apologize so much for that. She didn't. She drew him white in contradiction to whatever this thing is. I believe this is Legoshi's sort of not alter ego, but that part of him that understands you are a wolf, right? People perceive you as that. You fought against that desire so bad, right? He understands that's a part of him, but he's fighting it. Does this is he meant to represent a men? I think the answer to this is yes. How? How does he represent a man? How does he do this? That's the part I don't understand yet, right? Is the author making a statement that all men have this desire to do heinous things to women, as you can see, again, going circling back to this part right here, right? This entire, I guess, like ordeal where he has Haru in a chokehold where he wants to bite into her, where he wants to just drive into his heart, right? And with the little part of him saying that's just fine. Is Are they making a point that this is how all men have that? I don't think so. I think maybe there's a possibility. I shouldn't say I don't think so. I think there's a possibility that's what she's saying. But I think part of me is saying that this is how society and some other men, right? Maybe this shadowy figure is supposed to represent other men and their and what happens when men interact, right? Which by the way is a very scary fact. Let me look this up. Let me look this study up exactly for you guys so I can show you guys what I mean. So here we go. So my first, I guess, semester of college, I took a class where a big part of it, where one of the essay points was how men and women like friendships are different, and they are different. There's no like denying there is a difference between men on men friendships and women on women or female on female friendships, women on women, girl on girl friendships, guys on guy, boy on boy, whatever. There is a difference. Women tend to be more intimate and emotional, and they tend to be more friends, whereas men are seen as more transactional and more, hey, you do this, I'll do that. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We're good friends. Cool. I think that with this, right, we are talking about like a man who looks at Legoshi and thinks of and tells him, "Hey, you've done so much fighting, but you can't, right? Like I can let you go in to Haru and just bite and bite and bite and just go in." But I feel like as I talk more about that, that just makes less and less sense, right? But at the same time, going to the point where, oh, hey, every man is sort of the same and has that same desire, and I don't think that's why Beastars is seen in such a high regard. Which, by the way, don't tell me that it's not. It is. Beastars is seen in a very high regard. It was, and it still kind of is seen in a very high regard because Lego She represents so much more than just a wolf, right? I think Lego She represents men, and I think Lois, which by the way, I'm gonna get into it in a second right now. I think Legoshi, Lois, and Haru represent how interactions in the real world happen. How you know who you really are can come out to shine super easily, just like that. Going on to the second part of this, we're gonna talk about Lois, who, to be honest with you, kind of weirded me out, but at the same time, I believe that in a way, he's meant to be sort of like the shadowy figure, except in real, like everyone else can see him. Let me drink some water real quick. Okay, so the reason why I say this is because he has some very weird one-liners. By the way, let me find them real quick for you guys. Okay, come back to this. When Lois first approaches Legoshi about going, I guess, to the whole, how should I say it? Going to like rehearse their lines. One of the things he says to Legoshi, which by the way, Lois's like entire line seemed so calculated. You think Legoshi even like hints at this? I can't find the exact one, but I will go back to edit and find it. Legoshi like says everything Lois does seems calculated. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do, and he knows exactly how to do it. Right? And this line is no different, right? Are you perhaps going to be a hero and refuse my request, Wolf? Notice how he doesn't call Legoshi Legoshi, he calls him Wolf. Ah, that's a shame. I'm sure if I offered one of my legs in return, you'd happily accept my request with drooling. Right? Shang, okay. You'd happily request. You'd happily accept my request with drool dripping off your teeth. Who the hell says something like that? Lois understands Legoshi's point. He understands who Legoshi really is, right? He understands there's that part of him who will always be there. He again, I think he's meant to represent the shadow figure. He's meant to be like a second shadowy figure to Legoshi. Obviously, I don't know that yet. Maybe if I go along, we'll see more of Lois being extremely manipulative, really well written. Honestly, he's one of my favorite. He's one of my more favorite characters. And speaking of, I should probably I should probably talk about Haru. To be honest with you, I don't really understand her story up to this point. Again, maybe it's just because of how the manga really goes about it. I do remember seeing the anime and thinking, "What the hell am I watching?" But it sort of just seems like she's kind of trying to be a. That sounds really bad. I'm so sorry, guys. I know, obviously, I've watched a bit of the anime. I do remember that Haru is a very lonely rabbit who has to have who I should say has to have sex, but feels like she has to have sex in order to have friendships, in order to maintain a good social life. Obviously, that's not real life. That's not really what happens. No, I'm sorry. What I mean is, I don't mean that. I'm sorry, guys. What I mean is that shouldn't have to happen. But a lot of women feel like that. A lot of women feel like they have to have sex. A lot of women feel like they have to do stuff. They have to have the type of I lost my train of thought there for a second. Hold on. Okay. They feel like they have to have that sort of like, hey, I'll do this for you as long as you don't bully me. As long as you don't be a dick to me. As long as you don't throw me under the trash. Again, I don't remember much. I just remember that part. And up to this point, I believe it's only hinted at once, where it's sort of like, oh, I had sex with your boyfriend. Haha. I had sex with your boyfriend who's like like a special species, whatever. And before I continue, I want to say, that should not be the reality. But to a lot of women, that's how they feel like. That's how they feel like it should be. But no, it should never be like that. It never should and it never will. And so I feel like with that, we're sort of weaving in two stories together, right? Legoshi and Haru. Weaving in two characters one who feels so socially like both socially aware and socially unaware at the same time. I don't know how to if that makes sense. Right? Legoshi understands who he is, but he doesn't know how to change the perspective of other people. But it seems like he doesn't want to at the same time. So really, and then you have Haru who understands her, how people see her, and she does up to this point, she just doesn't care, right? She does care, or she doesn't care. Does she care? I really should have like written this answer down before I really questioned myself. Does she care? Does she not? Right? I'm excited to see what you guys think. I personally think, right? I feel like you can see both arguments to that though, because she doesn't care because oh she'll just right. But if that's the thing, I feel like you can't really say no because if she has to say yeah because again her one of her big points is she's has sex because she wants to fit in. She wants to you know? And I remember again, I'm vaguely remembering the anime, and I really should like stop trying to remember it because it'll just mess with my perspective of the manga. I remember having sex so casually because oh, it's just what I do. It's just what I do. That's kind of what her perspective is, right? And it's a really, really not at all a good way to sort of see the world, right? She shouldn't have to feel like she has to have sex in order to, progress, to move on. And honestly, it makes me it breaks my heart to see that. And with the second one, I'm really kind of scared to open it to be honest, because I know because the end of the first volume ended with Legoshi like going up to the garden club and seeing her eye to eye, and from what I remember, that's kind of where they meet, and that's kind of where she's like, "Oh, fine, I'll have sex with you." Not even like, "Fine, I'll have sex with you." Like, "Oh, whatever, come on, let's get this over with," which is not at all should be how it happens. But again, I really should stop trying to remember the. So again, so to sum up, obviously, Beastars it's not just about how a wolf, bunny, predators, prey, carnivores, omnivores, herbivores interact in a school setting, but also a reflection on how men, how women, how different types of friendships evolve. And I'm very excited to see how Legoshi and Haru's story continue on. Because again, I vaguely remember the anime. I really wish I kind of didn't. Because again, I feel like going into this brand new would really be able to like give me answers to questions that I have. And instead of just leaving me more confused, because it just makes you want to read even more. So I'll keep buying the manga. I'll keep using the online as reference just so you guys can see a bit better than my camera quality it is in right now. Um, I'll show you guys. My camera quality is not great. It's kind of why I've didn't do it like face to face like this. My room is dirty. I have some clothes there. You'll notice that it's very different right now. That's because I'm recording this 10:54 p.m. You might also notice my kitty calendar is like put up right different. Oh, that's because I put tape. And then yep. Oh, wrong way. Forgot it's inverted. Hang in there. Thank you, kitty. Thank you. I'm hanging in there. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I certainly did enjoy talking about Beastars, even if it really just has me with more questions than anything. But I feel like that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's how manga are supposed to be. That's how I'm meant to sort of leave me questioning what happens next. What is this supposed to represent? What is it, right? And as I continue, I really hope I get the answers to it. And I hope the author didn't just leave it on a leaving you like what the hell happened. And I really hope I'm not illiterate enough to not understand what happened. So I'll try to do more like reading information as I go through the different manga. So yeah, you guys have a good one. I definitely will. I'll try to buy a new camera by the time. Depends how fast. I'll probably edit this one pretty soon because it's not like a bunch of gameplay. So I'll probably edit this. I'll have it out by Monday. I'll start reading this. Oh yeah, second one. Put the wrong one out. I'll try reading the second one by Monday. I'll probably do like a reread before I record, just so I can remember and I could do again, sort of like how I did right now, where I just sort of wrote down some theories, some ideas. Obviously, it's not really like what I didn't really follow this off of. To be honest with you, I followed it vaguely. Thank you guys. I might upload this to TikTok, YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. You guys have a good one. Bye, guys.